Girlfriend, 20F, wants to break up with me, 20M, over meal tracking. I'm really into sports, and as part of that, I count my calories to stay in a slight surplus. Last night, my girlfriend and I had an argument where she told me that my calorie tracking makes her feel uncomfortable. She asked me to stop tracking my food intake on weekends when we're together, as we're currently in a semi-long distance relationship. To give some extra context, I don't ask her to track her food or make any changes to her eating habits. I simply like to keep an overview of what I've eaten during the day. I also encourage her to eat whatever she wants, and I handle all the cooking and weighing myself. The argument escalated, and it ended with her saying she would break up with me if I didn't agree to stop tracking around her. On one hand, the choice seems clear. I don't want to lose her over calorie counting. But on the other hand, this has left me questioning if our relationship is in a healthy place if something like this can become a deal breaker. Should this be a warning sign for me? I'd really appreciate any second thoughts or perspectives on this. Too long did not read. My girlfriend wants me to stop tracking calories around her, or she'll break up with me. Edit. To address some common questions, I don't insist on tracking if we're going out to eat or cooking dinner together. We see each other every weekend, and I don't really like the idea of giving up tracking my meals for 2 full days on a regular basis. As far as I know, my girlfriend doesn't have a history of an eating disorder, but I'll try to ask her about this carefully to understand her perspective better. She mentioned that my calorie tracking makes her feel bad, but also said that I just need to accept that it bothers her. Thanks to everyone who shared their thoughts, it's been helpful, and I'll do my best to figure this out. How does she know when you're doing it? As another comment stated, is there any chance she has an ED or body image issues? When I was deep in my ed, my boyfriend was also calorie counting and regularly planning food around gym and fitness etc. This made me feel so awful and constantly guilty. Eventually we had a big discussion about it and came to an understanding. He didn't have to stop calorie counting, but he did agree to not track or mention it at all while around me, which did help a lot tbf. Anyways, point being is you should probably have a proper conversation with your girlfriend about it. Get to the root of why it really bothers her and try meet in the middle. I've been on every side of this argument. I did keto and bodybuilding for years, and I'm sure I made a lot of people feel bad when they ate around me, even though I never said anything about their choices. I've also struggled with body image and likely had a borderline ED, so I understand how she could feel uncomfortable about watching someone else track every calorie. To me, this feels like something you can get around. If you've been tracking for a while, you should be able to estimate on weekends without ruining all your hard work during the week. If the thought of estimating or going to the bathroom to quietly track so she doesn't see you doing it, then it might be time to examine yourself to make sure you're not developing an unhealthy obsession with food. My immediate assumption is that she's trying to avoid these behaviors because has her own struggles with disordered eating, restrictive behaviors. Even if she hasn't, it can be quite uncomfortable to be around someone who's super focused on tracking calories, and it's something that I wouldn't want a partner doing when we're together. Sharing food is such an important, beautiful, human thing, and if your attention is on weighing, measuring and tracking rather than enjoying shared meals together, I'd find it really off-putting. I agree with the eating disorder speculation, but even if she doesn't have one, there is nothing more tedious than having to listen to someone else go on and on about their diet. If you want to count calories, do it. But she doesn't need to hear about it, and if you're taking time at meals and other times to enter stuff in your app, you're probably kinda bad company. Think about it like keeping a record of every time you poop. Fine to do, but keep that shit to yourself. Did you ask her why it bothers her? Please help me understand why tracking my meals makes you uncomfortable. I care about you deeply and want to understand where you're coming from. My girlfriend of 6 Malians, 25F, just told me she has 3 kids. I am a 21M. How do I process this? Got into a situation I never expected and I don't know what to do. Hey, I am a 21-year-old male and my girlfriend of 6 months just told that she has 3 kids. I was unaware that she had these kids. She told me that she was scared to reveal them because she didn't know how I was going to react. I am really stuck because I really love this girl and she has all the qualities I would want in my wife, but I just don't know if I am ready to be with someone with 3 kids. She told me about one and I accepted it, then told me about the other 2 and I kind of just shut down. She also has an extensive support system with the kids and their families. Really looking forward to any opinions on how I should proceed because I really don't want to lose her. At the moment I know that she was untruthful, but the feelings we have for each other was real, and it probably has been the best 6 months of my life. Translation. I knew you'd never date me if I was upfront about having 3 kids, so I reeled you in like a sucker, and now you'll feel terrible if you break up with me. At best she's fully manipulative, at worst she's a terrible person and a liar. The best 6 months of your life were based on a lie. A really big one. I sure hope you're using condoms because she doesn't seem to have either A good handle on how to use birth control or B, good judgment and had 3 kids by 24 on purpose. I would run, not walk, in the other direction. There's nothing wrong with dating someone with kids from a prior relationship. I'm a step-parent. No bio kids. Works for me, but you're only 21. You're way too young to be taking on that kind of responsibility. She has all of the qualities you would want in a wife. Does that include hiding major things, like 3 children, for 6 months? What else is she hiding? You can't trust her. There are plenty of 25F with 0 kids. Run away. Walk away. She lied to you from the beginning. If she lied like this, what other lies may be there as well? Trust is hard to build. You need honesty in a relationship. And then you still have to consider that if you can handle being a stepdad. Also, do you want kids of your own as well? That's a lot to handle. Probably need some more context here. Like how after 6 months of seeing her has she managed to keep them hidden? She must have lied about a lot of things before the reveal, which is worrying that she is capable of lying multiple times about various things. I think that's a pretty huge red flag. For me, the idea that she lied because she was worried about what you would think, unfortunately shows an element of her character. There's a lot of things that she would then potentially lie about herself and actions in the future. Also, how does she have 3 kids at 25 already? Is that all with the same man? 35F, have proof of my husband's, 39M, affair with our sitter, 19F. What now? I've been married to my husband for 8 years now, and for the first time in the 10 years we've been together I can't stand to see him. This man ruined our marriage and family for some 19-year-old. Divorce is the only option for me, because I don't think I will ever love him again. It all started 1 year ago when we were looking for a babysitter for our 2 sons. I along with my husband work full-time. After putting the word out, one of our neighbors informed us that their daughter was interested in the job. Fake name, Maggie came by for us to interview. She had experience and she was able to work around our schedule. At the time it seemed like a win all-around situation. We found someone responsible and Maggie found a job that could help her out. I never once was insecure about Maggie's looks or worried about my husband being attracted to her. Maggie did a great job taking care of our sons. We were both happy with her. Around last July I started to get suspicious, because of how my husband and Maggie would talk with each other. I came home one day to find my husband making Maggie laugh uncontrollably. I tried to forget about it, because I felt like I was becoming jealous of this younger woman. It stayed in the back of my head after that. The second sign was when I was changing the sheets in our guest bedroom. I found strands of blonde hair. No one in my family has blonde hair, I'm a brunette. The last guests we had over were my in-laws who don't have blonde hair either. The only person who's been in my house recently with blonde hair is Maggie. That's not a big deal though, because maybe she laid down after getting tired or something. Then there was the whole car fiasco. Husband out of nowhere one day asks my opinion about buying Maggie a new car for her birthday. This took me by surprise, because it's not like Maggie doesn't have a car. Also, I don't think we're in the situation to be giving away cars as gifts. Husband's argument was that her car was old, and if she took our boys out it would be safer in a new car. I told him no on the car and that was final. After the car situation, alarms are going off in my head. At this point I go from thinking I'm just jealous of Maggie to there's something going on here. Now Maggie is coming to work in skirts with heels on. She went from sweatpants and not wearing makeup to now have makeup on and her hair done. Then I notice her toes are painted black. My husband has a thing for feet. I've known this for our entire relationship. His favorite color on my toes is black. Now I have this 19-year-old coming to work in high heels with her toes done in my husband's favorite color. At this point I'm 99% sure something is going on. I get a hold of his phone. I'm looking in the messages for Maggie. Maggie is in a group chat with us. All contact and scheduling is supposed to be done in that group chat with all 3 of us in it. I find Maggie being texted by my husband separately in his phone. The messages obviously had been deleted by him since the last message was from earlier today, a bunch of laughing emojis from her. I did some research and realized I could recover messages that had been deleted. What I uncovered was probably all of the evidence I needed. It's him basically telling Maggie about how our marriage is basically over. They talk about spending the rest of their lives together. How she can move in as soon as I move out. She makes a statement, your sons won't even miss her when they have me as their mom. That one really hurt me, because the audacity of this woman to talk about my sons like that. Also, I found Snapchat on my husband's phone, which he's never had before this. I have a copy of the conversations on my phone. I also have them on video kissing in our backyard. They must have forgot the security camera was there. Now that I have all of this evidence, I'm not sure how to approach it. Do I talk to a divorce attorney before I confront my husband? Do I confront my husband at all about this, because I would like an explanation about why he thought it was a good idea to throw away our marriage of some 19-year-old wanting to play housewife. Also, do I make any financial moves before blowing this up? As of right now, I've been pretending like everything is okay. I don't think he suspects anything. I'm too embarrassed to talk to my friends and family about this. I feel like I'm still in shock over all this. It just all feels like a terrible dream that I'll eventually wake up from. First things first, don't confront your husband before you speak to a lawyer. Don't move any money. Don't leave your home. Make sure all your evidence is backed up in an email he doesn't have access to, and when you get a lawyer, send all the evidence to them. Your lawyer will help guide you in the correct direction with your best interests in mind. Also, get rid of that little nanny shithead. Make a provision in your divorce that any arrangements for childcare has to be agreed upon by all parties. Again, the lawyer will help with all this. Also, I'm incredibly sorry this is happening to you. It's unfair and I know you're hurt. 1. Keep him in the dark about your knowledge of the affair. Do not let him know you have any suspicions or knowledge of his activities. 2. Get a good lawyer, who can advise you on how to maximize your proceeds from the divorce. 3. Do what the lawyer says when the lawyer says. Do not confront your husband. You're not going to get any answers from him. You already know he's a deceitful, predatory, cheating scumbag. What is left to say? Take the proof to a divorce lawyer. This guy is exactly the type who will screw you over if he catches a whiff of your plans. Act like everything is just fine until papers are served and you have a strong plan in place with your lawyer. As for the girl, show her parents proof of everything and let them deal with it. After papers are served, I know someone who was in a similar situation. They were able to prove the mistress turned child bride was trying to turn their kids against them, and it was written up that they couldn't be around the kids. Ask your lawyer about that. Wake up, this isn't a dream, it's a calculated betrayal. Your husband isn't having a midlife crisis, he's orchestrating your replacement with someone barely legal. He's discussing your children, calling her mom, while sleeping with her in your home. You don't need his explanation, his actions tell you everything. Get an attorney, secure your evidence, protect your assets, and prepare for war. He's already shown he'll choose his teen girlfriend over his family's stability. Forget about getting closure or understanding why, he's shown you he's garbage. If I remember correctly, you posted last year. Speak to an attorney. If possible, separate finances such as changing direct deposits and take half savings right before confrontation. You can also do a credit check to see if he has any hidden accounts or savings. Also ask the attorney if you can get cameras in the house that he doesn't know about, mainly in the bedrooms. I guess I watch too much crime TV because I would feel real uncomfortable around those two. There's a story in the area I live in right now where the husband and the nanny orchestrated the murder of the wife by pretending she was on some fetish website and had a man come to their house. Long story short, they made it seem like the online dude killed the wife and then the husband shot him, but actually the husband killed the wife and was gonna blame it on the guy. They did all of this so they could be together, but now they're in jail for murder and the wife is dead. I know that's extreme, but please be careful. I, 23M, crossed a boundary with my girlfriend, 20F, and I feel awful. How can I fix TIHS? A couple of days ago, I was at my girlfriend's house. We have been together for more than 2 years, and her parents were in another room. We don't often get time to be intimate, and we both expressed that we were really in the mood that evening. She repeatedly said that she wanted to have sex but felt we couldn't because her parents were home, and I respected that at first. At one point, when her parents stepped out briefly, I went down on her. She enjoyed it, but we had to stop due to time constraints. Later, after dinner, we were alone in the living room. She was okay with making out but again clearly told me that we couldn't do anything more because of the situation. When I was leaving, we noticed her parents had gone to bed upstairs with the doors closed. We made out near the door to the exit, downstairs, far from her parents, and things escalated. She started touching me and I reciprocated, but after a few minutes, I noticed she wasn't physically aroused. Worried that she might not be fully into it, I asked her if she wanted to continue or if she was enjoying it. This broke the mood, and I apologized before leaving. The next day, I texted her, apologizing for the situation and acknowledging that I had pushed things further than I should have, despite her earlier boundary. I told her I deeply regret making her uncomfortable. She responded that I was right and that she needed some time to herself. I respected her need for space. Today, she told me she's furious and wants to talk. She also said she doesn't want to break up. I'm scared that I've made her feel violated or disrespected, and I feel terrible for putting her in that situation and pushing something on her. I deeply love her and want to make this right. How can I approach this conversation and help us move forward? Any advice on how to rebuild trust? Not sure if I'm missing something, but sounds like you asked her if she wanted to continue. She said no and then you stopped. Seems pretty much like you did the right thing? You asking if she wants to continue and if she was enjoying herself is defo not a mood killer in my opinion, so good job. Wait, what? She started touching me and I reciprocated, but after a few minutes, I noticed she wasn't physically aroused. Worried that she might not be fully into it, I asked her if she wanted to continue or if she was enjoying it. What are you even apologizing for? It seems to me, also, I'm a woman if that matters, that you were perfectly respectful at every point. What in the hell are you apologizing for? This seems like something a 16-year-old would post lol WTF. I don't think you did anything wrong. She started it and you stopped when you asked if she wanted to keep going and she said no. There's no boundaries crossed here.